live with Lekha Sishta. Lekha, thank you so much for joining us and being on my Mind Over Matter Cafe. You are the first person that I'm interviewing in a series of interviews for women who have applied Mind Over Matter to overcome their challenges or to achieve the goals that they've set for themselves. And I know that you are a very busy person, so thank you for making this time. Lekha, as you all know, is a global talent strategist. She has won many awards, and she works with as a leadership mentor and consultant for organizations to help them do talent strategy. So, and what else do you do, Lekha, before we get into understanding your wonderful journey of losing 40 kgs of weight over a 2 year period? Do tell us.
So it's exciting. I do a lot of other stuff as well. I also teach MBA on the weekends, wherever. And I'm involved in a lot of other women empowerment activities as well as series. So
As
that's
we have met in some of those. So, Lekha, tell us about this journey. So, we have all seen the picture of you a couple of years back, and what got you started on this
So,
journey?
Smriti, as a child, I was a very thin person. Okay. I was in fact thin to the point that when I was in school, my mother used to say, "What's going to happen to you? You look like a beanpole, you got to put on some." It was like that, right?
Right.
And then I went into college, and from college, after I got married, then that's when the journey of putting on weight was,
Yeah.
especially after I had my two children. I think one gets into being a little careless and saying, okay, this is something that's okay, it's manageable, and people tell you you're looking nice and round, and it's a very kind way of telling you that you're actually putting on weight. But
Right.
then you kind of let it get to you, and over time, then you it becomes so difficult to manage, because I think over the last I would say about the last 20-22 years was when the real battle started. And I
Right.
started doing all sorts of things like going to all these wellness clinics, obesity clinics, trying out different things, those fad diets, GM motors, this diet, that diet, all sorts of things like that. And the problem is that I could never stay with it, right? I mean,
Right.
you do it for about a week, you do it for 10 days, then say, okay, fine, now it's not working and I'm getting off. Or you lose a little bit, you're very happy with it, and then you get back to your normal weight and it all comes back. So I
Exactly.
think
It's all our
fighting is,
story. Yeah.
yeah, and then you kind of you fight it all the while, and then you get to a point where you say, forget it, I'm not going to do it any longer. But
Right.
over the last about 4 to 5 years, I started having a lot of problems because of obesity.
Right.
My knees used to pain. I would never climb upstairs. I would never want to climb upstairs. I would
Right.
always have an issue where, even when I wanted to take a flight somewhere, I would choose airlines like Indigo, because there was a ramp to go up. So I wouldn't even want to climb up those 10, 12 steps to get into the aircraft. If I was going to a resort somewhere, I would try to choose a room which was closer to the dining hall or closer to the exit or ground floor, so I don't need to climb steps. So I found it was kind of retarding my lifestyle, right? So even
Right.
I love cruising. So when
Right.
I used to go on cruises, also I would ask for rooms next to the lift, and sometimes I needed to give up a good sea view because I was staying that. So it was extremely constrictive.
Right.
And the pains, the
Yeah.
pains for the heels, my heels would ache in the morning. When I would get up, I would try to put my foot on the ground, and it would really ache with it was like it was on fire.
Right.
And then I would do, had the backache continuously, the lower backache, or my shoulders would pain. I also have arthritis along the way, so that became an issue. And
Right.
then, finally, it would be, I've always suffered from migraines, right from the
Right.
time that I was, I think, in college. From that time, 1977,
Just one
78.
moment. Like I need to mute some of the people because I can see they are.
Yeah.
Yes, I've muted them. Yeah.
So
Please.
I used to have migraines, which used to really worsen with time. It used to go on to about 3 to 4 days continuously. The migraines used to be so bad. And you know how it is, right? You don't feel like doing anything. Any noise is irritating and so on. So it was becoming bad for me. I also have two grandchildren and I love playing with them. And I kept saying, oh God, how am I going to be, playing with them? I wanted to bend down and run with them and do things. And it was just getting terrible.
Right.
So about 2 years back, that is in January 2019, I actually took hold of myself and I said, okay, let's do something about this, right?
Right.
And so I started with a millet diet, which was, with an actual doctor, Dr. Deepa
Right.
Agarwal, and she put me onto this wonderful diet, which was all on millets. But the problem with that was that you needed to make it for yourself and not for the rest of the family. So
Right.
you do it once in a while, then you don't do it, you give it up, and then you start back again. But I started losing weight, so I started losing, and I was just determined to get rid of the pain. So that's how it actually started first,
Right.
to get rid of the pains. And so then I think it was about January, February 2020, by which time I had lost about 11 kgs, right?
Oh, wow.
So I was quite, yeah.
So, Lekha, so just the millet diet allowed you to lose this
Yeah,
much?
millet diet and
How long did you, how long?
a little bit of exercise. So about half an hour of walking, that's all that it requires, and getting back to the basics of good food, basically.
Right. Okay.
So
Not
yeah.
denying yourself, but eating right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You don't deny anything. In fact, you have a lot of shakes with it, and it actually keeps you feeling full throughout. So that was a good diet. The only thing there, the problem was that you were cooking separately for yourself,
Yes, there are
because you need
practical
to,
issues.
yeah. So that becomes a little of a problem. So in February last year, 2020, so I'd lost about 11 kgs, right? And then February last year, I was still looking quite huge, by the way. The picture that you put on last in that red sari was exactly a year ago, right? And that was, so I went for this 40th year reunion of my IIM batch. Right. And met all my friends, over there. And there was this one person who was there, Mr. Beer, a classmate of mine, who'd been actually telling me about the way in which he'd lost weight for the last 3 years. But you know how it is, you don't want to listen to anyone, especially somebody who's telling you that he's lost weight and you can't lose weight. You definitely don't want to. So I started actually avoiding his calls and all that. But then finally, at this particular event, I noticed that he'd lost a massive amount of weight and he was looking so slim. And the best part is he was eating everything. So he was eating all the parathas and the meat and, everything. I said, what are you doing, Veer? I mean, you're going to put it all back on. He said, no, don't worry. I know how to lose it again. I said, wow, this is fantastic. So I watched him. Then I came home and then, I had put on weight because I'd eaten at that time too. And then I called him up and I said, so how much have you put on? So he said, oh, in those 3 days, I put on 2 kgs. I said, you put on 2 kgs in 3 days? He said, but I've lost it. It's 1 week since then I've lost it. I said, wow, 2 days you have lost. In 1 week, you lost those 2 kgs. So now you need to tell. So that's when he
and Lekha, this is exactly it. We work very hard. And then we go for one holiday and 3 days, your weeks of hard work just goes
absolutely. And then you understand why, right? Because what happens is your fat cells never really disappear. It's just that they collapse. The fat is out of it. So then when you understand the science of, how this works, and he introduced me to this concept of autophagy. Autophagy is actually something which is won its Nobel Prize in 2016 and comes out of intermittent fasting. So after a while on intermittent fasting, your fat cells also start getting destroyed because they are collapsed cells. So your body is feeding on those cells and converting those dead cells into energy. And that is why the shrinking takes place, right? So then I started this, and I started it on the 3rd of March last year. And within months, I was losing. So the first month I lost 5 kgs. In the second month, I lost 4.5 kgs. And it just went on.
Lekha, tell us what exactly were you doing? Were you doing intermittent fasting?
I was doing intermittent fasting, which was 16 hours I started with, and then go on to 20 hours of fasting, which means you don't have anything but, warm water and lime juice during that time.
Yeah.
But the most important thing that we have to remember is the low carb diet. So from the time we are children, and especially in India, we've always believed that all three meals have to be with rice or chapatis or, upma or idli or dosa, all of which have some component of grain. You don't feel you've had a meal till you've had grain, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So now this new concept is about giving up on grain completely. So grains and sugars is what you give up on. Even fructose, that is fruit sugar, to an
Right.
extent has to be controlled. So I didn't have, for instance, mangoes at all throughout the last year, and I love mangoes, right? So you need to just make up your mind and just say, okay, this is it. I'm not going to do anything more.
Yeah, Lekha, that is very interesting to me because all of us have tried this intermittent fasting. We've gone on it, got off it. It didn't work for me. I just would go and eat. So, what exactly did you do to fix, to make your mind strong enough to not go there?
So
Not.
I think the wonderful thing for me, Smriti, was that pandemic and the lockdown hit at the same time that I started this, right? So I was giving up all my servants. So my cook was not coming, my maid was not coming, my dhobi was not coming, the gardener was not coming, the person who drives me or cleans my car was not coming. I stopped everybody because my mother lives with me and she has a heart problem. So I was very, very protective of her. So I said, no servants to enter the house. We are not going out. We are not ordering in at all. I stopped going out completely, right? So I was housebound for about 9 months. I didn't get out of the house at all, right? So then you say, okay, now I'm doing all the housework. I'm doing the cooking and everything, right? So it becomes very easy for you to control what you're doing.
Right.
And I think that you make up your mind and you say, all right, now I know what the pain was like. I don't want the pain.
Right.
And then you realize also that, what are you giving up? You're giving up the temporary bit of the taste that you like, which is on your tongue for a fraction of the second. It's the taste is only on the taste buds on your tongue. That's it. After that, it goes into your stomach and does a lot of damage. So then you find out, okay, what are the things you like, right? So then you start thinking. So I said, okay, I like crunchy food. Right. So I said, okay, what are the crunchy foods I can have? So I can have dal papads, right? Dal is protein. So I can have dal papads. I can have nuts. I can have nuts like groundnuts, roasted fully. I can have soaked badam. I can have vegetable sticks, carrots and stuff like that, which is so, tasty. Cucumber sticks, and dip it into a chutney. Then you look for ways in which to make your food exciting without grain. Right. And then I found you can make lovely idlis without using any rice or rice powder. Right. You can make it with just dals. I looked for dal idlis, dal recipes, and then you realize you need to rotate your dals every day. So what are you doing? You're finally using your creativity to enable you to enjoy the food and make it a part of your lifestyle. And once you see the first 5 kilos dropping, it's amazing because then that becomes an addiction. You say, okay, now I really need to make this work. And I really need to ensure that this is something that's going to stay with me for life, right? Yeah. And also the other thing that happened was that it allowed me to, I started having a band of people who would also join me. And now I am mentoring about 78 people, of whom there are about 15 men. And the rest of them are all women in 3 groups, 3 WhatsApp groups. So I see their food. We exchange a lot of recipes, cauliflower rice and, upmas made out of different kinds of, grain, pesarattu and different ways of making that into dosa form or, ada form. So we're constantly looking at keto atta and making rotis out of that or using that in a bake, for instance. So we're constantly looking at recipes to make it exciting. Yeah.
So just a question. So what I'm hearing is that it's almost like it has to be a project. It has to be that focused. Yes. That this is a project. I'm going to work on this project with all my creativity, with all my commitment and determination. Right. It's not just about saying, it's not on the side thing.
No. And you cannot think of it like we did with the GM Motors diet, where we said that GM diet was just 7 days, right? Right. So at the 7th day, by the time it's the 7th day, you're looking forward to eating everything that you missed over the thing. And then you put it all back on. Right. But here, what you're doing is you start enjoying this so much that now I still go for parties. I mean, we went out for lunch the other day, for instance, and, with some friends in their house. I had a bit of rice and I had a roti, but I knew that the next day when I come back, I will increase my intermittent fasting to 21 hours and I
Right.
can get rid of it. Right.
So,
So
so
it's
tell
not
us.
that now I'm not eating any carbs at all. I'm getting back onto carbs because I've hit my target weight now. I've
Right.
lost a total of 40 kgs. In fact,
Right.
little more than 40 kgs
Wonderful.
now. And I feel fabulous. I've got my project now is of course to stitch new clothes, right? And to alter all old ones.
What
So
a
that's great
wonderful
fun.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's
Lekha,
great
tell
fun.
me this. Tell
Hmm.
me this. So, what what is the motivation now? Because you said there's so many things that you told me that you wonder why you didn't think of this 30 years
Oh
back.
yeah, I feel so bad, Smriti. I think why on earth did this not come to me 30 years ago? I would have lived my life more fully without the pains, right? For me now, the continued motivation is I cannot get back to where I was.
Right.
I will not allow myself to get back to where I was. So I have those pictures, some of which you've used as well. I have those pictures on my phone. And every time I'm a little tempted, I look at that picture and I say, do I really want to get there again? Plus, the fact that I'm mentoring these 78 people, they are my checkpoint. I
Yeah.
cannot go back to where I was because I'm doing something as a role model for them.
Absolutely. I know that, Lekha, because in my Mind Over Matter program, I do an inner circle webinar every Friday 7 p.m. Those who are subscribed to the program, and because I'm telling them I can't not go back to something that I used to do earlier, because you
Exactly.
cannot preach what you don't practice. I
Exactly.
understand
You can't allow yourself to falter because of them, right? So that becomes a good checkpoint for me too.
that.
And
Right.
the other thing I wanted to tell you, Smriti, and I did mention this to you when we spoke some time back, I've been wearing glasses since the time I was 8 years old, right?
Right.
And August, I was not wearing it during the pandemic because you're cooking and stuff like that. You take off your glasses because you're sweating. And I didn't realize that actually my eyes were getting better. And I had very high power, -3 and -2.5, right? Really
Mhm.
high. And of course, it was bifocals as well.
Mhm.
So over in August or something last year, I went for a drive. Took my mother on a drive. Got her into the car in the garage and just went for a drive and coming back. On the way, I said, "Oh my God, I forgot my glasses." And she said, "Okay, let's go back and get it." I said, "No, no, no. Let me see. It seems like it's okay." And I did the entire drive without glasses. After that, I have been reading without glasses.
Wow.
I've been working completely without glasses. Computer, I don't need the glasses at all.
Wow.
Only when I'm watching television at that distance of about 15 to 20 feet is when sometimes because of the flickering, you need to wear your glasses for a short period of time.
Wow.
But otherwise, I can stream and, on my iPad, everything is perfectly okay without glasses. So this
Right.
is something which has been it's been a miracle when I talked to the doctor. And by the way, many people said you've lost so much weight. So, your skin will be hanging and you're going to have this whole lot of other health problems. So I've done my entire health checks twice, complete parameters, that 176 parameters, done that.
Right.
Everything is normal, better than earlier. I, of course, did not have a diabetes problem, etc. But this program that I'm using, we've actually reversed diabetes in many people. They've got off their medication completely.
That's so
And
wonderful.
autophagy works well to actually repair dead cells. So I don't know whether it's autophagy which has actually made my eyes better, but also you will see I don't have any sagging skin.
No, you don't. It looks so young and wonderful. Lekha, just spell that for me, autophagy. How do you spell it?
Autophagy.
Yeah.
Autophagy.
Yeah. So I am putting it out for everyone so
Yeah,
that
they can read up.
Google
They
it.
can read up about it, and they'd be able to know how it works. But
Right.
basically, what it does is with your intermittent fasting, and if you do that over periods of time, your body needs that carbs, right? Needs the blood
Right.
sugar. So where is it going to get that from? So then it starts searching. And it
Right.
starts searching for cells which are already dead in your body or collapsed in your body, which are of no use. So it
Right.
has been seen that actually reverses Parkinson's and dementia as well, because there are these, the debris which is there from the blood, which goes and sits among the cauliflower nodes of the brain, also gets cleaned by autophagy over periods of time. So your mind gets sharper, for one
Right.
thing. And plus your cells. So it's saying now the latest study that they're doing is that does it retard cancer? And it's been showing that it is, but they're waiting for complete proof with 5 years, right? So, but I don't find anything which is loose, I mean, it's just amazing. And I feel good. My pains have gone completely. And now my entire what I'm trying to do is to try to look for ways in which this becomes my lifestyle for life. I will not. And nowadays, by the way, for the last 4-5 months, I'm having only, we call it OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. So I only have my lunch. I don't have breakfast and I don't have dinner, right? But I have lime juice and I have green tea, a lot of that. I have some dry fruits in the evening, maybe a fruit if I'm really hungry, or maybe a cup of soup. I don't know. But generally, my main meal is just that one lunchtime. And I realized that if you like something, like for instance, like we said, mind over matter. Why do I like a food? It's crunchy. So I find other ways to be able to get that crunch. Okay. I like spice. So what am I going to do? So I take a piece of lime pickle, for instance, right? Just take the lime pickle and just dip it touch it to my tongue. That space that actually allows you to feel that taste. And you savor that taste in your mouth. That's enough. Why do you need to load your body with it, So that is that control of mind over matter, which really is difficult. Only, I believe me, it is only the first few months that it's difficult. After that, it just is a song. And especially when you see the kgs dropping, it's just amazing. Now it's so exciting, Smriti. I just love it. The other day I took my mother to the RSI, which is the Army Club. We just had to go there for something. And we met some friends and I had my mask on. And they thought that it was somebody else, And then I took my mask down.
Your daughter.
Yeah. And they said, my God, I cannot believe that this is you. And I said, well, so now the exciting thing is to actually have people recognize me the way I am.
But Lekha, see, what you're describing is a lot of hard work, a determined way of doing it, and for over a period of 2 years. Now you have arrived at that place where you have the motivation to even eat just one meal a day. Now I have done this at one time, lost all the weight, and I've done it, I've maintained it. But then when you come, and this is outside India, and I always feel that in India it's very difficult to say no to food because we have so much good variety, and if you have foodies in the family, then it's very difficult. So when you're mentoring your people, what is the easiest way? I may not need to lose 40. I know I need to lose just 3, and I lose 2 and then I get 2 back. So what is the way in which I can control my mind? So
I think you need to tell yourself, first of all, why do you want to lose weight, right? And you've got to talk to yourself. It's got to be a lot of that self-talk. And you say, okay, I want to lose weight because I want to play with the kids. I want to lose weight because I want to get rid of my pain. At one time, I was actually going to have knee operations, right? I don't want to go under the knife. At one time, I was thinking of bariatric surgery, and I don't want to go under the knife. So I used to keep thinking, I don't want to have to suffer with migraines all my life, where it is debilitating in one way or the other. So when there is something which you're going to be saying, I don't want to get there, why not give up this? And then it is not also that, like for instance, many of the people I mentor also said that there was New Year's and then there was Diwali and then there's this party. And I said, go for the party. Definitely have a meal before you go for the party. So don't have your lunch meal. You have your dinner and have it at about 6 o'clock. Then you go for the party. Then people will say, Arey, why don't you have this? No, kya kuch nahi kha rahe ho? You know how we are Indians, right? So you say, I'm so sorry, I'm feeling so full, or I've got an upset tummy. It's easier for you to make an excuse when your tongue is not hanging out its saliva, right? So you already filled your stomach up by the time you go there. And then every time you see that roti, and you realize that, one roti is giving you that 35 to 36 calories and carbs, grams of carbs. Do you want that? When you can only have 30 calories, 30 grams of carbs in a day to continue to lose weight. Do you want to have that one roti and then, upset everything that you've done? Okay, you have that one roti. Next day, will you give up something? And then I say, all right, if you like something well enough, and let's say you wanted to have that biryani, right? please go ahead. Have the biryani on that Sunday lunch, but it's not a cheat day. It's not a cheat meal. It's a cheat dish. And how much of the cheat dish? You've been waiting the entire week for it. You will have one small katori, which is half a cup of biryani. Please have the chicken, have the meat. You need the protein. Go ahead and have 5 pieces of the chicken. No problem. You need the protein. More the protein, the better it is. No fat, of course, right? You're reducing fat and you're reducing your carbs. No rice, but you want the rice. Fine. So you take that rice in half a cup, which is 1 katori, and you take the smallest spoon that you have. You can have chopsticks. Please pick up a grain of that rice, put it into your mouth on the tongue, roll it around your tongue, savor it for all you want, right? Half an hour, you can keep that 1 grain in your mouth, no problem.
Yeah, so Lekha, this is, of course, I mean, it's from what you are describing to me is to have a very strong mental image of what you want and why you want. And, in neuro-linguistic programming, we say that negative statements don't work. So you have to have a positive statement of, I want this because of this.
Absolutely.
And I have done this but my motivation has mostly been to fit into dresses. And now because I don't wear so much dresses and we are all at home, I don't bother. And I know my body shape has changed in this lockdown, even though I'm doing a lot of exercises, but I think I'm eating equal amount of food. So viewers, all those who are here, please put your questions as well on chat and I will ask Lekha. But in the meantime, Lekha, so this everyday morning when you wake up, what is on your mind when you are thinking of your?
So I think the first thing on my mind is to do a little bit of exercise, because I know that is going to keep me feeling fit and keep my joints all, moving. So that is the first thing I do. And I've seen very easy exercises. Remember, I was not going out of the house. So I was not even walking outside, right?
Right.
So I've created this circuit inside the house, which is across 4 rooms, right? So it's about, it takes me about 65 steps.
Right.
Is one circuit across the room. So I moved out all the carpet, I moved the furniture out, and it's just a quick walk. So like that, when I walk for about 1 hour, that's about 65 steps in a minute. I forget how much it is. No, 65 steps in a round. So about 6,500 steps, which is 4.5 kilometers in an hour. So you finish that in the evening. Morning, I found this fast walking by Leslie, which is just in 4 square feet of space. You can have 2,500 steps going for you. And it's really energizing, right? So we do that. And I tell my friends, all these people I mentor, I tell them, okay, I'm starting at, let's say, 8 o'clock. I'm starting at 7:30. Anyone wants to join me? And we don't do it online, but we're doing it. Right. And they just need to record it, just need to let me know that they've done it, right? So that is the first thing on my mind. And then I, later on, when I go into the kitchen to cook whatever, then I make myself a hot glass of lime water, just plain lime water with a little bit of ginger and a little bit of haldi and pepper. And that's what I sip at for the next about an hour. You can have as much hot water as you want. So the thing that is going through my mind at that time is not hunger. So though my mother has a breakfast at some time, which seems very interesting, and sometimes I do have, nowadays I do have a little bit of upma, something, because I can afford to now. But earlier I used to stay away from her when she used to have her breakfast. So I wouldn't go there at all.
Yes. Because
so
when
I
you
would be
see it, reading, when you smell it, then your taste buds get activated and you salivate, and then you want to have a little bit, and when you have little bit, you want to have a little more.
Then there's no stopping.
It's very.
So then you stay away from temptation. So what you do is that locus of control, right? What can I control and what is it that I cannot control? And if you realize what you can control, one thing I can control is where I am. I can't control my mother and what she's eating. Right. I can't control the fact that let's say, and mango season, and I love mangoes. I can't control that, but I can definitely control the mangoes that I am going to see. So I bought mangoes for my mother, but she would have it at lunchtime. At the time that she would have it, I would not have my lunch. I'll have my lunch later, or I would bring my plate into my room and not have it there. So staying away from things which are going to be difficult. After some time, it became fun for me, because I say, I really don't even want to have the mango. Please eat it in front of me. It's absolutely okay. So
Right. So once
it
your
became,
mind comes under control, because your why is so strong,
yeah,
so then it's easier to say no. So there's a
yes.
question here: does intermittent fasting work for everyone? It didn't work for Bindu.
Yeah.
So what about that?
So, so Bindu, that is something that, I find that intermittent fasting needs to be a regulation, right? It's not something that you're going to do for 5 days a week and then not do it for 2 days. No, it doesn't work that way. I know that they do say 5 days and 2 days, but do it on a daily basis and you do it for that 16 hours continuously. Please do not touch anything, no sugars at all, not even fruit during those 16 hours. Feed yourself okay in the other 2 meals of your day. You might have a late brunch and then you might have, let's say, an early dinner. That becomes your 8 hours. So let's say 12 o'clock you have a brunch, and then by 8 you should have finished your dinner.
Yeah.
If that is okay, you can even have a snack at 3:34, which is fine. And I'll tell you what kind of snacks you can have. You can have things like, those papads, roast papads. You can roast phalli. You can have that. You can have that chana jod garam. You can do all that. So the thing
Right.
is that you see what is working for you, and the rest of the 8 hours, 16 hours, that is even while you sleep, do not go near food at all. It
Right.
has to work. Initially, it will take some time to kick in, Bindu. Sometime. Some people, for instance, the first month, they don't lose more than a kg, or maybe half a kg. I was lucky because I had so much to lose that my first time that I did it in 1 month, I lost 5 kgs.
Right.
But people now are actually getting there.
Right.
A lot of people in my group have lost 20 kgs, 25 kgs. They're also looking good. So when you see the before and after pictures and you see that as a thing, so I think, Bindu, you need to be able to see what it is that you are giving up and not feel that you're actually giving up something.
Right.
You're not giving up, you're
Yeah.
getting in.
Right.
What is it? Good health. What is it? Wellness. What is it? Positivity. What is it? Compliments. Right? When you think of it like that, you want that more, and
Right.
you don't mind what you are losing
Lekha,
because you're not losing.
yeah, and that's very right, Lekha, that the why has to be positively worded and we must remind ourselves about it. And but we also do stress eating. I have noticed this. So last 15 days, because I was going to a wedding, I said I will not touch sweets. And my whole family is pre-diabetic or diabetic. So I said I won't. I didn't touch sweets. Then I noticed that when I was stressed, I went to the kitchen because now we are at home all the time and I wanted a piece of sweet. But because I had this mental rule that I would not eat sweets, I noticed it. So I had awareness that, and I said, oh, look, when you're stressed, you look for sweets because that's how our mind works. We want energy to cope with the stress. So how more to make sure that that momentary thing of where something goes in your mouth before you've even thought about it, how to tackle that?
First, I tell my mentees, hide the stuff. If you love chocolates, hide it. Give the key to your husband or give the key to your children, for that particular fridge or that store. You will not go near it. Put it out of your mind. Put it away. Even
Right.
if it's in your fridge and you have just one fridge and you can't lock it, keep it at the back, the recess of the lowest corner, stuff it into the corner out there. In front of that, what your eye can see, put some nice sticks of vegetable. Sprinkle
Right.
some nice
Needed.
chaat masala on it. Have a chutney next to that. So when you open the fridge looking for the chocolate, your eye does go here.
Yeah.
And
And
this is
can I,
as exciting.
yeah, Lekha, can I just say, because I've read this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, and one of the things he says is that environmental clues are more important than internal motivation. In fact, he talks about a story where in a hospital, his woman colleague said that she will change the eating habits of the people without a single conversation. And all they did was place mineral water next to sodas, put healthier options on the menu, and within a month 20% sale of the mineral water went up, and people chose healthier options because they were seeing something better. And from
Absolutely.
yeah, and from that I'm reminded, they say that if you have a salad bowl ready right in front of you, then you will not go and eat that. So,
Correct.
and you
Correct.
have time to
Absolutely.
control that impulse.
Absolutely. You have to create those healthier options and the alternatives which are equally tastier, by the way.
Yeah.
Equally, like I told you, if I want spicy food, I will make my salad. So I make two types of salad every day. One is a fresh green salad, another one is a sauteed salad. In the sauteed salad, I'll add the sauces.
Right.
Obviously, not the thick sauces,
Right.
but it'll be the vinaigrettes and stuff
Yeah.
like that with a nice masala. So it kind of gives me that feeling. And I can have any vegetable that is cooked. I can have as much dal as I want, right?
Right.
So what am I losing? That one roti or that little bit of rice? That's the only thing I'm giving up.
And for people like me, Lekha, who don't have to lose so much but have to lose some, and want to feel fitter, and I exercise a lot, and I know a lot of people who might be here might be exercising, but still I find that borderline, that 2-3 kgs that will make me exactly the right weight for my height. I'm not I It's a challenge, it's quite challenging. What would you advise for that?
So, for the last about 2 months now, I have not been able to go below that 41st kg, right? I mean, I'm stuck out there, which is okay. I mean, I'm not really unduly worried about it because I think now I'm looking good.
Yeah.
But if I really want to get to what that metabolic weight is supposed to be, etc., I'm supposed to lose another 2 kg. It's very difficult when you have a little to lose. It's much more easy when there's a lot to lose, right? So that is something you need to get into your mind. Also, you figure out, why do I want to lose those 2 kgs for what? What is important? Is it the
Yes,
size?
the why. The why.
If it's the size of the clothes that you'd like to wear, then maybe doing it by exercising is a better way than by giving up food. So
Right.
you look for a way to be able to get that goal. There are different ways to get to the same goal post. It doesn't need to be
Right.
just the one.
Right.
You figure out what is going to work for you.
Yeah.
And don't kind of push yourself unduly. It should,
Yeah.
like I always tell my mentees, right? What is important is enjoy the journey. Enjoy
Right.
it so much that you just start loving it to the extent that you will not give it up for anything.
And that's true of everything in our life, isn't it, Lekha? The
Right.
work that I do, we have to love the process and
Right.
the journey, and not be so fixated on the outcome, but just enjoy, start doing different things, and see how our creativity can be used up to for
Yes.
ourselves and for others, and create better results. And
Correct.
and then lap up all the admiration that we get.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I never used to see my collarbones before. It was so much of fat. And now I enjoy my collarbones. Okay. I just enjoy it. I love having a choker which is sitting on my collarbone. So
Yes.
things like that, just start enjoying small bits, which
Well,
is
Lekha, you've
like,
always been a very wonderful, warm person. It's always come through. But now, of course, you are looking absolutely gorgeous. And thank you so much for giving your time. Any questions from our audience? Do you have any questions? Then, Lekha, I know Lekha has another meeting to attend. But thank you so much for this time. It's really makes us rethink how we can, but Lekha, one more question.
1 second, Smriti. There's a remark from Bindu which I would like to read out. She says,
Yes.
if one gets up from a meal feeling 25% hungry, shouldn't that work as well without having to deny yourself? My point is, Bindu, don't get up when you're 25% hungry. Why should you get up when you're 25% hungry? First of all, please eat, right? Eat till you're feeling full, but eat the right stuff at that point in time. And this 25% hungry, why do they say it? Because we tend to gulp our food. We tend to
Right.
swallow it so fast that your
Right.
mind does not register when your stomach is full. That
Right.
is why it's giving that 25% of leeway, for your mind to feel full. That's the only thing. So please eat. Take a long time over your salad. Like for instance, when I serve my plate is 2/3 of salad. Like I told you, one portion of green salad, the other portion is of my sauteed salad, and then I will have my sabji and my dal. And my plate is full and very colorful. I will start with each stick of cucumber, each stick of radish, each stick of carrot, And while remember, every time you're chewing, the food to get to your stomach and then send that signal to your brain is going to take it's a cycle. So the more you're going to spend time on eating the salad first, your brain is already registering, I'm getting full. Then you have the rest of the food. And if you're a non-vegetarian, please have that chicken, that tandoori leg of chicken that you'd like, or some fish that you'd like. Please go ahead. Yeah. Don't deny yourself what you would like to eat. Only stay away from the grains and the sugars. That's the only thing. Yeah. So please don't get up Don't get up feeling 25% hungry, because that 25% is going to translate to 50% and then 100% when you're already in your 16 hours of intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
there's
please
another
don't.
question. Yeah, thank you, Lekha. That is very good for me also to know, because I don't think I can get it hungry, but I can do this. I can go slow on my salad and then be a little less focused on my rice and roti. So Shobha says, wonderful. So happy to see this transformation. Truly inspiring. Shobha, thank you for being here. And Nirmala Kola says, amazing journey. You're a great inspiration. I would like to know the reason why you moved to one
OMAD.
meal. Yeah.
Okay. So, Kula, the reason I moved to OMAD was, in the beginning, I had also done 5 days of fasting. Okay. That's 120 hours of fasting continuously just on liquids. And then I found that that's not really good, because, and now I tell people that, especially during the pandemic, do not reduce your immunity in any way, right? You have to be healthy, because you have to be able to combat this stupid pandemic that is going on. So the reason I moved to OMAD is because I realized I don't feel hungry in the morning and I don't feel hungry in the night. Why do I have to eat 2 meals a day? Just because people think that you have to eat 2 meals a day, you have to eat. No, I don't need to. When do I feel hungry? So I recognize my body telling me when I'm hungry, and that is coming up about 12:31. So at 1 o'clock, between 1 and 1:30 is when I have my lunch, and I don't feel hungry the rest of the time at all. I don't. And when I do, there's nothing to prevent me from having a cup of soup in the night, or, like I told you, a bit of, badam, which is soaked and peeled. And it's great fun to actually soak the badam and peel each one carefully and then chew each one, right? It's taking a long time, especially when you're watching a movie on Netflix or whatever. Great. Just have one bowl of nuts, put in a lot of onions and tomatoes and green chilies and dhania into it, make it a nice big bowl of it, right? Just one bowl of nuts doesn't mean that full bowl of nuts, okay? So, but the whole thing becomes, let's say, one dessert bowl, like, right? And then you just take one nut at a time with that masala in it, and you can watch your entire movie. So you got your crunch, you've got the spice, you've got everything. Why do I need to go for those stupid chips? So now I don't keep chips at home. First of all, I don't have colas at home at all. Like Smriti had said, it's water that is the main force here. The other day, I had someone who dropped in, a little child who dropped in. They asked for cola, and I was so embarrassed that I did not have cola. I didn't have even a juice, so I had to mix some tang for them. So it is like, what have you made available for yourself? For me, I found OMAD works, but there are many of my mentees who are doing 2 meals a day and still losing weight. You choose what is working for you. Just feel that you're enjoying the journey and loving it. That's very important.
And one thing, thank you, Lekha. And one thing would be that keep those things ready in your fridge, so that when you go to the kitchen, because I do this very often, I look in the namkeen section, and so that the snacks are ready for you. So you can only prepare, but we
Yes.
have to focus on it as a project. It can't be something on the side. Even if you have many important things going in your life, this is another important thing. For what I'm understanding, Lekha, that for a greater quality of life going on, we all getting older, we need to think of it as something very important, not
Correct. And also another thing, Smriti, I think what we need to do is, don't plan your meals when you're hungry. Don't plan your next day's meals when you're hungry.
right.
So plan your next day's meals and keep things ready for your next day's meal today. Like you go to grocery shopping when you are full,
Right.
after dinner, right? You don't go before dinner, because then you pick up all the useless stuff.
Yes.
Similarly, when you're planning your meals, you plan it after your main meal of the day, maybe after lunch. Then you say, okay, tomorrow, what am I going to have? Then you'll find you're making sensible choices and you're preparing it. You're keeping that ready, right? So you're not going to want to make crazy stuff. And like I told you, please treat yourself to that. If you're a paneer eater, please have the paneer, please have the butter, please have the cheese. No problem. How much is, of course, important, right? And what is it that you're having at that time? So there's no problem with the tasty food. The thing is, what do you consider tasty and why?
Yeah, and that's the shift that we have to make. And sometimes we are just eating for the sake of eating, not because we are even hungry. So what I'm taking away, Lekha, is get your why correctly in your head, embed that in your mind as a motivation mantra. Plan your meals, do intermittent fasting. I will look up autophagy,
Autophagy. Yeah.
autophagy, and then keep at it. Don't do it for short-term purposes. Keep. And I hear also, you must have heard Rujuta Deveka. She says if you're doing exercise, do one that you can keep on for 50 years. So
Absolutely.
easier way
Don't
of.
don't overdo. Don't overdo anything. Don't overdo the exercise. In fact, in the beginning, when you're doing intermittent fasting, the usual thing is, okay, I want to lose more weight, so let me also do a lot of exercise. But you will realize that the more you exercise, the more hungry your body is going to get.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
don't do over exercise. In fact, I tell the people, just do 15-minute initially, then do 20 minutes, then do 25 minutes. Don't do more than half an hour. And if you want to do half an hour, then do 2 bits of half an hour, morning and evening. But don't have 1 hour of exercise, because at the end of that, you're going to have a big problem. So do things, and don't do weights. You have to do strength training to keep your muscles going, because you don't want to lose muscle weight. You want to lose fat weight, right? So you have to be able to keep your joints moving, do whatever you need to ensure that that flexibility continues, right, in your joints, etc. So please do that. And yes, like Kola is saying, it is very important to drink a lot of water. You have to drink a minimum of 3 liters of water a day. Right. Because you see what's happening is your fat is getting melted. Remember, I told you the fat cells, autophagy also is working on the fat cells, getting out that fat from there, converting it into blood sugar. But when that you're not using the blood sugar, because you don't need that amount of carbs. So where is it going to go? It's going to go back and rest again into the fat cells. You don't want that to happen. Flush it out with water. You have to keep drinking water to ensure that. So initially, in fact, I was very happy that I was staying at home, because you want to go to the loo so often. Yeah. And it becomes very difficult if you're at work and you're all the time making that run to the washroom. Here it was very simple, because even when I was doing a webinar or anything, I could always take a break in between, use the washroom and come back, and 1 hour 2 hours is not a problem at all, right? Yeah. But flushing it out is very important, and having that systemic cleansing of your body by having that one morning good motion is so important. So if you have to have flax seeds, or you have to have what do you call that, isabgol in the night with warm water, please go ahead, have it. Do whatever you have to, but flush your body out of the toxins that your body is trying hard to get rid of. Right. Help the body.
Yeah. And we all can figure out our strategies. This was just to kind of get motivated and understand what you did, Lekha. And we all have access to resources, so we can get those resources. But Lekha, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what should they do?
They can always, if they can, probably the best way is to WhatsApp me. No, in fact, why don't they just send me an email? Right. My email is Lekha. You can put it down there.
Okay, Lekha.
lekhahr@gmail.com. So they could send me an email, and then we could fix up a time to actually call, to have a talk, and then I could help them out in advising them. I don't think I'll be able to take on too many more mentees right now, because my hands are quite full, but I can definitely advise people on the small issues that they have, definitely. But like Smriti's, like Smriti is saying, I think it's very important to realize that, for me, it was losing weight. But it could be anything which is your focus right now. And it could be even getting over a bad marriage, or getting over a bad relationship, or anything that is getting you down, like the stress factors, which also end up in, eating, for instance. But I think you can use this power of mind over matter to get over anything in your life. And I'm saying this with so much of confidence, because I have done something which had destroyed my 30 years of life, and I've done it in 2 years. I'm sure all of you would be able to achieve whatever you want in life. Just focus and keep that power of that law of attraction. Think positive, visualize the positivity, and things will happen, which is going to be positive.
Yeah, Lekha, thank you for bringing that up, because in Mind Over Matter, the first thing that we do is visualize. Because if you don't visualize, then your why is not strong. And then we unpack what we are doing wrong. And then we create the right patterns, and then we act with intent. So what you've described is exactly the same process. And so lovely to have you as my first participant, and first person on the show. And I'm going to have a series of this, and I expect to have many more people share their wisdom, their learning, their expertise with us, and show how they have used mind over matter to, win over their whatever has been in their way. So thank you so much,
A
and
pleasure. Thank you,
yeah,
Smriti, for having me. I've loved being on the show. And I just wish that, more people had seen it, but probably they will see it when you load it onto the page as well.
yes, I
But
will.
thank
I
you.
will.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Lekha.
And
All
all
the
the
best.
best to everybody. And I hope all of you achieve your goals as well. Make it
Yes,
happen.
thank you. Yes, we can do it. We can do it. Thank
Yes.
you, Lekha. All the
Bye
best. Take
bye.
care.
Bye,
Thank you everyone
everybody.
for being
Bye
here.
bye.
Bye.